I come from a poor family, yeah. We ain't never had a lot, yeah. But the Lord been good to us, yeah. Now we riding on the top, yeah. I come from a poor
Hal actually has a podcast.
I do, yeah.
Tell us about your podcast,
Yeah,
Hal.
man. Yeah, no, it's the Hawai'i Real Estate Roundup. And it basically just sort of came out of my mentors and my coaches telling me, if I wanted to, do real estate, you got to put content out. And that's what I did. I just started grinding out content and, nobody watched it at first.
What's the name of it?
The Hawai'i Real Estate Roundup.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So those watching and listening, you guys know how we roll. We just roll in and have conversations. But I'm going to introduce my man, Hal Wilkerson.
Let's go.
What's happening?
So how we met Hal is that he actually probably does multiple things, dude. Like,
I do a lot of stuff.
I was gonna say, because
like you.
Yeah. I was like, he's like, I don't know. I mean, he's like in a lot of different places, but he was in a position where he was able to send us some work at All Things New, and we're able to serve them for a community gym.
Yep.
So thank you so much for an opportunity to
Yeah.
bless us with work in the community, and that's how we saw it. It was like, oh, a community gym. Actually, that's pretty cool.
It was amazing, and it was, it was a competition. And I will tell you, of all the ones that we looked at, nobody had a better prepared bid and a better presentation
praise
of
God.
what was to come than what ATN did. And
Oh, man,
I had no idea who you were at that point. And that came into my inbox, and I went through everything once, and then I went through it again, and I started researching and Googling you guys, and I was like, dude,
What?
these are my people, man. These are my people.
But so anyway, I'm getting emails now from Hal and the team because they're going through the process. But then I kind of looking at his resume, doing the same thing. Like, man, this guy's all over the place too. So the connections started happening. But I think my very first phone call to you, I could hear God all in your voice.
Right on, man.
Yeah, it was like, I'm like, this guy beat me. He's more brighter sounding and more
easy.
happy.
Bro.
I was like,
Confirmed.
he wins.
Confirmed.
No, but I mean it. I was like, he made me feel like, wow, I'm excited to really do this job. Like,
Nice.
we got a legit client. Like, but yeah, your voice, it just had a brightness to it, and just
well, the work that you guys brought, bro, it was on point, and I just want to say that, man, it was really, really nice, and it was awesome doing that project. So,
oh man, I
Yeah.
gotta. And honestly, what's crazy is like, me and my wife were owners of ATM, but I'm actually got to give a shout out to the one who actually swung the hammer.
Sure.
Jeremiah and all the crew
Yeah.
that was in there. Zach, they're the ones actually doing the sweat and tears. But we did get to film a demo session. You remember
that's
that?
right. I didn't get to see it because I
Well,
was off island or whatever.
Yeah,
but
that's the whole. We were gonna get a whole big TV show. We got an episode on that. But,
Okay.
but yeah, we that was good. Thank
Yeah,
you.
of
Me and
course.
Tip actually got to go in and demo something and film it.
Cool.
But just what I would love to learn and why we have you here, Hal, is just we know you're in the real estate.
sure.
I mean, what a place to be in Hawaii, and just knowing you had to bless people with opportunities for ownership and certain things, and there's a lot of craziness happening right now with just the market, the past since COVID and things like
Yeah.
that. What I would love, I guess, to first dive into is share a little bit about your real estate, how you got into it, why you're in it, and then what is it? How is it affecting, or is it blessing? Like, what is the position of our island right now? And so, tell me how you got into real estate.
Yeah, sure. So, how did I get into real estate? 2008, I took a real estate investing class, and that was when I moved here in 2007, and I like to say I've been in Hawaii,
Where are you from?
I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, originally.
Come on.
Yeah.
Dang, that's the other side of the...
It is, right? It is. Yeah, but like I like to say, I've been in Hawaii long enough to know my place. I took a real estate investing course in 2008, and that was kind of when my eyes were open to it. And I was still active duty Navy at that time, and then fast forward, 2011, got out, started working in the corporate world. Worked in the corporate world from 11 until 21, basically 10 years.
Come on.
And it was kind of during that time, those seeds had been planted, that I knew sort of like real estate was the key for me to accomplish my overall long-term goals and my passions as an individual. And so, 2020, the world went haywire, and I just said, okay, well, it's time, and so I made that exit at that point. And I'd had some investments in short-term real estate, short-term rentals here in the islands prior to that, and really that was sort of, I just saw that as an opportunity for me to sort of jump out and do my own thing, and so that's what I did, and here we are.
So what's the position with these short-term rentals? Like what? I feel like, because we have a couple clients that they're kind of like standing clients that they have homes here and they want to do that, renovate and get ready for short-term rentals, but then a lot of laws have changed.
The laws have changed, and in fact, I don't do that business on Oahu anymore. I have one property in Hilo that we're actually standing up that I'm super stoked about. And then I actually coach nationally for a company.
You're a coach too?
yeah.
Wow.
There's a guy named Brian Page out of South Carolina. B&B Formula is the company, and we I've been a coach for him for like a couple of years now. But as far as Oahu goes, for your clients, they've got to be in a resort zone, or they have to have grandfathered in from the land use commission. There was like 800 of them from like the 90s when they stopped issuing them. So those are the only properties. So if they have those attached to their properties, they can.
I see.
If they don't, they got to be in a specific block or south of Kalakaua or Makai of Kalakaua in Waikiki or Ko'olina or North Shore or one small little community in Makaha.
And I'm going to play the dummy here. Like short-term rental, that's like Airbnb.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so like Airbnb rental, you can't really, so short-term now used to be you can rent like any time, but you can't do that anymore.
Yeah, 30
right?
days.
Is 30 days the
30
max?
days
You have to
is
at
the
least...
minimum.
Oh.
Although it's so crazy because what's happening in Maui, right? So everybody got shut down over the last year. It was a big to-do because there was a judge that ruled against it. They were trying to do it 90 days minimum. Anyway, there's a bunch of constitutional stuff going on with that, and a judge ruled against it. I think it was last October, put a stay on it, and then it finally kind of dropped in this summer. And so, but now what's happened in Maui, it's like the city and county does all this, overreach, in my opinion, and now they opened it back up. At least for the end of the August. So it's almost like a slap in the face. It's like they took all the people that were, because it's a real thing in Hawaii. I mean, we talk about the price of paradise and how challenging it is to for expenses here, and it's an amazing business because tourism is always coming here, right? Yeah. So anyway, just kind of a humbug kind of thing to see the changes as the winds move, because there's a disaster in Maui, and all of a sudden they open up the doors. They're like, oh, well, you know what? All you guys that we were shutting down, now we're going to let you do it, and it's just like, I don't know. It's kind of a slap in the face, to be honest.
And then I don't know the position, but from a local standpoint, would a short-term rental be a good thing? Like if you can make more income for your home, or do you think it's...
Well, when the price of milk is $1 a gallon or $10 a gallon, or you know what I mean?
Anything you can get,
anything
right?
you can do.
and
okay. You've got families, and that's my opinion. You got families that are looking to eat every dollar they can out of it. And then, oh, by the way, we've got this beautiful place with the tourists that are bringing the tourist dollars. Like, I truly believe in that situation that and this is kind of me putting my conspiracy hat on.
Bring it.
I truly believe that the hotel lobby wrote a lot of checks to some of the city and county, politicians, for lack of a better word. Yeah. And then once they got into play, then they had to cash those checks. Wow. And that's what happened. That's the way I feel it, because look, right
it's
here,
almost like hotel gangsters.
It is, right? They're putting up hotels in areas that aren't even resort zones now. Right here in Kapolei, there's an Embassy Suites, there's a Residence Inn, there's a Hampton Inn,
and here I am just walking by buying coffee from now.
That was so weird when it popped up, though. I was like, hotels in Kapolei.
Yeah,
it's so weird.
Think of it.
So anyway,
but I have a couple clients that battle with that.
Yeah, it's got to be. Those are the two things. The only way you can do it is it's got to be land use grandfathered in, or it's got to be in those two areas. Otherwise, it's 30 days. That's the minimum you can do.
So what is the market now in real estate like?
Sure.
I looked at mortgage rates.
Mortgages
Mortgage rates are
climbing.
they're like 8% right now.
Spiked up there, huh?
So unless you're like all cash in.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I saw a stat yesterday that said 26% of all home buyers in the last 90 days have been investors.
Wow.
I mean, yeah. So
And I'm seeing that too. The cash is coming out of the. I've got a client he literally said, he's been with me for a year and a half probably, kind of on the sidelines. He's looking at apartment multifamily. He's looking at luxury. Just a lot of dry powder, kind of ready. And he told me like 6 months ago, he's like, I'm waiting until there's blood in the streets. And I don't want to say there's blood in the streets right now, but it feels like it's starting to bleed.
Wow.
And Hawaii has got a sort of a unique scenario, which we can segue into our talk about the emergency proclamation, because there's a limited amount of space, right?
Let's talk about it. Go ahead. Let's go there.
Yeah. And so, that you have these families that, number one, they can't afford to live here. Number two, there's not enough housing units for them. That forces up the cost of building. It forces, or the cost of the purchase price. And then you've got all the other components that come into it from the permitting standpoint, which forces up the overall acquisition cost. It's a really an unfortunate thing. On that housing proclamation, the emergency housing proclamation, on its surface, and from what I've seen, it's a good thing. To me, it feels like Governor Green is turning the wheel. He's trying to point the ship in the right direction. Is what it feels like to me from reading it. So yeah, I mean, we've got it.
Let's talk. So
Sure.
the proclamation was an emergency, knowing that we need to produce how many homes?
I want to say it was 50,000.
I think so.
Within 3 years.
In 3 years to catch up with what is required,
Right.
right? To meet. And what I learned when we went to the Kapolei Town Hall to learn about, you hear directly from the DPP director of what the audit showed,
Right.
and this was like a year ago. A lot of the challenge, one of the greatest challenges, even when they pushed the ADU, I don't want to call it agenda, but they're trying to push ADUs out, right? They had to kind of slow that roll because waste management wasn't in place. So what that means is like, yeah, we wanted to push out 20,000 ADUs, but we couldn't because we couldn't even handle that waste load. So even thinking about 50,000 homes,
it's a domino. Like, there's always different factors that come into it. And that's 50,000 homes. Here's an interesting statistic for you.
Come on.
You've heard of UHERO, University of Hawaii Economic Resource Organization, or something like that. It's basically the big brain, the economist that's I forget his name right now. I sat through a talk with him maybe right after the emergency proclamation, before Maui happened. It was maybe 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago now. And here's what he said, which I thought was really interesting. Governor Green is trying to lean on people like you. Bring us 50,000 units in the next 3 years, okay?
Right.
That math works out to 16,000 and some change,
right?
Okay, if we do it, right? It's 16 and a half thousand or so a year in 36 months.
It's like 1,300 a month.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you keep...
No, exactly. If we break it down, 1,300 a month, how many a day? 30 a day?
Yeah,
right?
It just keeps...
So what have we done historically, like in the last 40 to 50 years? So he said within the last... The biggest year that we had, like I want to say since we've kept track of it, was like 16,000 in 1 year. The last time that happened was in the early 70s. Since then, you know what our throughput has been on an annual basis on housing units?
I mean, I would have guessed 1,200.
2,800.
2,800.
Yeah, 2,800 a year has been the highest throughput. So he's basically wants to go from 2,800 to 16,000 in a year.
And then
right?
where are those going to?
Well, exactly. Yeah, it's all it's going to have to be high density.
It has to be, and that's why I even threw out 1,200 because Ho'opili
Right.
is trying to keep it that pace, and they can't. I think that's what they're producing, like 28, probably 2,000 something.
If that, yeah,
If
exactly.
that, yeah.
Because there's all the other ones that are
Right.
doing as well, you know. So that's a real big concern. It's like it's a great idea on paper, but are we going to have the infrastructure to support it? Do we have, you know, that the waste management?
Yeah.
You know, do we have the inbound raw materials? Do we have the labor? You know, all of these things are pieces that need to be solved. I will say again, broadly at the big picture, I feel like it's the right move. It just feels like I don't know if 3 years is going to be enough time.
Yeah, and I feel, I mean, it's like I was talking to some people too. They're like, well, how do you come up with this type of solution in such a short time? He's like, I was like joking around talking about you have 5 Snickers and 10 people. What do you do? And he was like, oh, you just cut them in half. So I think the ADU is like the great quick solution, because you can pump out 800 square foot attached or detached units, but the waste management just has to move. You got to I think like I'm as a builder, and you know, I'm trying to think what is the solution. And if waste management is a problem, there has to be a different waste control.
Right.
Like if there's something out there, I don't know, but it's like if you can get an ADU and figure out how to do some kind of, because they have trailer homes. What happens with those waste? Modular waste control to get us through. There has to be, like if the house is on fire, and I said this before, and your fire team won't get there for 3 years or 10 years.
Right.
You have to find temporary solutions at
Better
least.
get that fire extinguisher quick.
So what is the fire extinguisher?
Yeah.
Like, and coming up with those solutions. So that's what we're hoping to dive into. And it's like, so I think the controversy too, and I don't know, conspiracy is some of these proclamations being made to just open up land for hotel developments and certain things. And
I would hope not.
Yeah.
I would hope not. But yeah, you know, it's interesting. You mentioned the waste management aspect of it. I don't know if you're familiar with what happened a couple weeks ago with West Oahu Aggregate. So West Oahu Aggregate, basically, from what I understand, they went under and they got bought by the guys that have the orange bins. I forget the name of them, but it's all of the sudden, all of like our community. I'm president of a 1,200 home community right here in Kapolei.
See, this dude does so much. Man.
Yeah. I read.
By the way,
I don't know. I should have said it like that, but I'm just like it comes through my.
And I also coach basketball, NBA. I'm like the head position for my man's in everything.
I play the violin first string on symphony.
And by the way, he has a cooking show too.
That's
cooking
hilarious.
with the Wilkersons.
Cooking with the Wilkersons, exactly.
Man, that Christmas episode, not to like go tangent, but that was dope, man.
It was good.
There was like snow in your kitchen. I'm like, let's go.
That was fun.
You know, I was like behind the scenes watching, helping. You know, I can't help it. I like producing. I was like, hey man, you gotta edit that door closed in the top left corner. That was
drawer.
No kidding. I didn't even see that.
Wait, when he goes,
good catch.
Yeah, I was.
Catch.
So we went back, rewound it. You were the corporate. You're the one that you opened it. And left.
It was left over.
I was the one that left it. The
so I was behind the
standard.
Scene. I was scolding Ray. I was like, Ray, you got to help direct.
That's hilarious.
How?
Not to go for a tangent, but dude. Hal, AJ's such a good cook.
Oh yeah,
she's so resourceful and just kind of knows. She just knows. I'm like, because on some of the episodes, or one of the episodes, or maybe both, we kind of had to maneuver. Well, you guys had to maneuver. And,
she's amazing.
Yeah,
as can be.
It was good. It was good food, Richie. Yeah.
But you know, I think just watching it, guys, it was just, you guys are a great couple, because as she's like focused cooking, you're like so excited, like a little kid behind, and your smile, and so I enjoed watching it. You guys got good chemistry. You brought your daughter on
my daughter for the last one, I think.
Man, you're a father. One. Look at you over there killing it,
bro. I mean, you're a grandfather of 12 though, bro. Man, come on now. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's
10,
amazing.
2 on their way. Yeah, two. Who knows, man?
Yeah,
Dude, we call them the 12 disciples. So.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, so how is now going back to the market? I know we went into, the demand here, and it's crazy. Like, I don't know what's next. I think that's point of like our conversations is like hoping something sparks, hoping people listen, hoping things can happen. But people that are interested in buying a home? Say there's locals here are renting and they want to buy. Like, what's your
Yeah.
advice right now? Like, what's happening?
You know, I like to say that the best time to buy a house was 20 years ago.
You guys missed it, guys.
Best time to buy Bitcoin?
20 years ago.
20 years
But
ago.
the best time to buy 20 years from now is today.
Oh, yeah.
And so
that's a good message.
It is. Yeah. It is never, in my opinion, as a long-term buy and hold kind of approach. Get in the real estate escalator. Get in it now. That's what I say. Get on the escalator, because especially in Hawaii, you know, our average price point, our median price is higher than anywhere else in the country, and our equity acceleration is faster. I can't tell you, especially for those military members that are out here, dude, there is no better gift to your personal financial future as a military member than orders to Hawaii. 2 reasons. Number one, it's Hawaii, you know, sun in the fun in the sun. And number 2, you use that VA loan and you buy something with minimal money down, and it's going to, you know, you let it bake for 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, you're going to have $200,000, $300,000 in equity that you would never get from your TSP from that same amount of time, you know, from the military people, you know. Yeah. So that's my take on the market. Like, buy early and buy often on real estate. There's no greater way to build wealth, in my opinion, than real estate. So
with the interest rates hitting literally 7, 8,
yeah.
kind of just floating around that area, right? On a 30-year loan, what would be your advice to somebody when they do buy right now? Like, what would help their anxiety?
Yeah.
Like,
so you marry the property and you date the rate, is what they say. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow. That's a good one.
So the interest rates they're always changing. They're going to go up. They're going to go down. And you know what? If you can afford it now, I will tell you that 7% interest rate is causing the buying power of the average consumer to go down. It is actually having a plateauing or a reduction on the overall average list price of properties in Hawaii. But that's okay, you know, because the market is the market, right? I'm a true believer that capitalism works. And so what I would say is that find a property that you can afford, that you can get into, but get into one. Yeah. And then, you know, 3 years from now, 2 years from now, 5, whatever, that interest rate's going to come back down. You can refinance it, get a lower, your PI, you know, your principal and interest is going to be lower. And then you can continue on your merry way. And that escalator is going to continue to slowly appreciate. That's what I say.
Yeah, no, I think it's good advice just with my experience. Cause 2 house fires, Irish that came over, you know, into America. We just had like that poverty spirit, man, from the beginning, just hard workers trying to, you know, make it. So that's the family and history I come from. And so coming over here, you know, military, did my 4 years. And
thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. It's
U.S. Navy too, right?
I was Navy, Pearl Harbor. Yeah. Literally met my wife. I fell in love with the Hawaiian Japanese.
Yeah.
Nice. Literally within the first 3 months here. Done.
You're like, sold.
Sold.
Yeah.
So
nice.
But I was really blessed with who, you know, I fell in love with, because she's a Christian, loves the Lord, loves Jesus. Amen. And she's a Hawaiian and loves her culture, fights for it, loves the Aina, understands how to bridge the gap with God and understands the history. She has like amazing history. I think we have an episode releasing that she's actually, her great 5th great grandpa is one of the great warriors under Kamehameha.
No
so
kidding.
She's in that bloodline, which is really cool, you know. And
is she 50% or greater?
She's about 25.
Okay.
Her mom is in the 50, and her grandpa was like the 90, 100. Like it was.
That's awesome.
So that's where the Japanese came in. The grandpa and then and down. But it's just an interesting culture blend. Yeah, she's gonna love this episode.
Yeah.
It's an interesting culture blend when you take Hawaiian and Japanese.
Right.
Oh man. It's you have this queen, this powerful queen is the Hawaiian. Yeah. You know, very rooted, smart, educated, not prideful, but
strong,
bold, confident. And then you got this reserved, smart, respectful, kind of blend. It's interesting. It's like, man, I told her, you're gonna be president one day.
I love it. I love it.
Well, even like if they were ever to raise a queen here again on the islands, I always tell her she's it, because she was like born and raised in Waianae, which is like,
West Side.
It's West Side. And then, but she also was raised in Hilo on the Big Island. And then she spent a lot of time with her grandpa in Molokai. So these are like very rooted places on the island. So she's very, not only cultured just naturally, but even deeper roots of understanding, these certain places on the island. So shout out to my wife.
Lived, dude, but, isn't it a wife is a wonderful thing,
bro?
And your wife is, dude. I've watched your content with her, and it's like amazing. Tiffany's amazing.
Yeah, Tiffany is great. She keeps me in check.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I want to change the world, conquer the world, and mess up the world all at the same time. Man.
She's there to like keep you in.
Yeah, she keeps me in. But let's talk about Florida, Hal.
Oh, okay.
Come on, man. Before you came here, man, I just want to hear you're growing up.
I'll just say one thing, Duval.
Yeah, I don't know. Are you a Jaguar fan?
Oh, bro, I'm OG. OG Jaguars, my friend. Well, Mark Brunell, Tony Baselli days.
See, so I got friends, sailors in the Navy that I shipmates is what we call them.
Yep.
That they're from Florida. Oh, bro. There's I can tell the loyalty.
Yeah, exactly. And who knows? Maybe this will be our year. It's so funny. I got a really good friend that's a huge Rams fan, and he's also actually a missionary.
Come on.
And we met in seminary, of all places.
Wow,
believe it or not.
You're in seminary. Come on, man. Hal's got a resume.
But Steve is a Rams fan, and he told me, he's like, bro, he's like, you are literally the only Jaguars fan I know west of the Mississippi, man.
They're so loyal, they won't leave.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're right. I'm one of the few that actually branched out. But Florida's born and raised. Yeah, I'm a Florida State fan as well.
I thought he was going to tell me he coached for them back in 19. Before I got into real estate,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
no. But before that, I was the quarterback. I was like, oh man. I'm like, I was the
Richie.
man. No, your resume, dude, is But yeah, so Florida, they got you left Hurricane City, and then we got hurricane threats. What's the difference? Because isn't Florida a little more scary, I guess?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's the hurricanes are real. In fact, my sister just got hit last night in a very rare area that got hit up in Central Florida. But yeah, the hurricanes are there. Last year South Florida got hit a year or two ago. So yeah, that's a real thing over there. But yeah, that's home for me originally.
Florida in the house. So how did you meet your wife?
I met my wife on Tinder.
What? That's tight. I actually haven't heard any story. So how does that work? What is that? Because I met my wife before I think those things came out. So tell me how that works.
So I actually was when I worked for the medical supplier. I actually had I was in charge of the whole Pacific Rim, and so I was basically from Hawaii west. And so the State Department has a lot of business in the Philippines. And you may remember in the 16, 17, 18 time frame, there was a pretty hot thing going on down there. Well, the U.S. Marine Corps and several other, pieces of the DOD and the State Department, they used my company for supplies.
Come on.
And so I would have to. So I would be in Okinawa. I would be in Manila. I would be in the Japan. That whole region over there was mine. And God.
You're like Forrest Gump, man.
Gotta make a movie about it.
We gotta make a movie about podcast. Ain't enough. I want to know more.
Oh yeah.
Because he also is in the faith.
I am. Yeah. 1,000%. Yeah.
And how did that meeting God? Tell us a little bit about your testimony.
I grew up in the church, and and I went to had a real great youth program that I was part of.
Oh, so you're like it's like in the youth. Man, you're
young
fire.
I mean, that was now it's been a journey. It's been a journey.
Yep.
And I would say probably in the last 3 to 5 years probably is when I've really, it's kind of like my faith has always been a part of my life, but it's been the last 3 to 5 years that it's been like real. And it's still a growing thing, you know.
Yeah.
But it's my passion is missions.
Come on.
And my church and giving to my church. That's what I'm all about, man.
It's funny when you said it's a journey.
Yeah, it is.
As a Christian, you know what went in my head was because my faith started super early too, but I remember like being super drunk in college and just sitting there like a couple.
I almost got kicked out of a Christian college for alcohol.
Really? So I'm sitting there but I'm still like, I'm drunk talking about Jesus. Telling him he's
not exactly the best representation.
No,
but
heck no. But it's funny. It's a journey.
Yeah, it is a journey.
It is.
Yeah,
you know,
and I've been there too.
19 years old. Just
that's awesome, man. I've actually been in bars and situations where under the influence and have those faith conversations with guys because it's real, man.
It
like
is.
when you have a relationship with Jesus and he's actually like saved you from your sins, genuinely like saved you from the rubble, even though like we are as humans, we're fallible, right? And we're still going to make mistakes and we're still going to sin. But like that, once it's inside of you, once the Holy Spirit is inside of you, bro, it can't be removed.
Yep.
I mean, scripturally, there's a few things, but like there's no sin that can separate us from the love of God. There's nothing that can separate us from the love of God. And I have been in those situations, in those moments where like that 19-year-old Richie, talking, drunk talking about Jesus. I've been there, bro.
Yeah.
And
don't go out there and drink and start talking about Jesus. We're not promoting that.
Not at all.
But it's a journey.
Yeah,
it's a journey.
It is a journey. You know what? Actually, this year I am 49. And
you're still young, man. Come on, let's go.
Exactly.
You gotta hold on to that 4 as long
yeah,
as
that's right, baby. That's right. But I actually finally gave up alcohol this year.
Oh, right on, man.
Yeah. So I am.
That's a big step. That's when somebody does that, it shows me discipline.
Yeah.
Really,
yeah.
it is. And even if you do it in moderations and things, but man, if you just say nah. Like I tried to do that with sugar. It don't work, man. It's hard.
Yeah.
Like being able to be disciplined.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I got a sugar tooth, man. Like it could be 10 o'clock at night. I need a little chocolate or something.
For sure.
So that's huge, man. Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I just know. But yeah, thanks for coming on and sharing a little bit of your life, your professionalism, and things like that. I know that. I remember just recently I just went to church service and saw Pastor Mike
nice
this past Sunday and
awesome.
Amazing message, man.
Yeah.
Just about leaders coming up in a time like this.
Yeah.
And so
it was a good word.
I was just recently praying like, God, like, all right, I'm a builder. We got people like you and others on the island right now. We're all trying to look for solutions of, it's just expensive out here. We're losing land and, there's a lot of things happen. What are the answers? Like there's so many people. How do we house? How do we and it's not even just here. It's like on the mainland as well, right?
Right.
Isn't there a
inflation is affecting everyone.
It's affecting everyone. And I was just like, God, like, what is that noise? what is the answer? I ask him like, what is the answer? Like here we are, vessels like pour into us. And he just spoke to me recently. He's like, I'm setting the stage up for revival.
Amen.
There ain't nothing you can do.
Amen, brother.
I was like, no wonder there's not an answer.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
So I really feel like we still need to steward and do our part and things like that. But I think God's Spirit's about to blow wind and fire. His fire.
Amen.
Kind of like what Maui, you see with the fire, how quick that thing moved. That's so scary. But think about God's Spirit doing that. And so that's kind of the visual he gave me. He was like, he's going to heal that land.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
He is.
That's what he does. He heals
land.
lands. He's going to heal those families. Obviously, there's a lot of loss. We'll be praying for you, Hal, and you and your family. You've been, amazing, just support, through the construction, got to build a relationship with you. And we're here, man, as a resource, anytime. And, we're here to make things better here on the island. So thank you, brother. Man. Any last words you want to say?
No, it's just been, it's been a pleasure being on. It's not long enough.
Come on, it's not. I know. You just want to hang.
We gotta do. Let's do it again.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's
do
it again, and just have a chance to riff. But man, this was a blessing. It was great to be on. Ray, thank you for being here.
Yeah, I'm stoked to see you, bro. We haven't seen each other in a long time.
I know, it's been a minute. It's been a minute.
The thing about Ray, we know when he's joyful because you see the fog or his he starts smiling so much that his glasses start getting
I love it.
Starts getting foggy.
He starts getting foggy, so we know he's in a good place today.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. I love it.
Praise God. But yeah, thank you, Hal.
Absolutely,
Welcome
brother.
To Builder of All Things, the boat.
The boat, baby.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Right,
Thanks,
cool.
brother.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Come from a poor family, we ain't never had a lot,
Dude, this is awesome, man.
But the Lord been good to us, Now we riding on the top, I come from a poor family,